it begins. And what we're going to do is start at the coin door and go on back. So the very first thing that I see here is the light switch for the coin door, for the quarter light. I just cut this back. We're going to move it back. There's the switches it belongs to, and we're going to rebuild these. It's going to be a long, tedious night of going through and checking every wire as it goes along through the looms and see what's cut and where it's cut and how fucking chewed it is or not chewed, and getting it back in order from the front door all the way through. That wire will be the first real test of fun, finding where and what and who it goes to. Wish me luck.
When you wanna go, when you wanna know what's going down, you can count. CaptNRetro, it's the CaptNRetro Show. CaptNRetro, it's the CaptNRetro Show.
So once again, the microphone on my camera, my iPhone X, has stopped bringing in audio. I have no idea. But what we're looking at here is a pile of wires that I had from another game. This is actually a JAMA wire harness that we're looking at here. But I have a whole stack of wires, and we're just going to kind of cut things to fit. We're going to do some shrink wrapping and some electrical taping and getting the wires that we need back where we need them. So we started with the coin door, and I got it done. We got a new wire attached here, new wire attached there. And we've run it through the loom, back around the corner to where it goes. That was all the stuff on the coin door that was cut, thank God. So that was pretty simple. We've reattached that flipper wire that was broken there. We've worked our way towards the first pile of loom stuff over here. I've actually also fixed the other flipper, I believe, at this point. And we're figuring out what went where and why and how. We have rebuilt the connector for the flipper board here. We've also run lines for the flipper, the actual flipper on the right hand side of the cabinet. That is the blue and the black line running right here. Then we're going to eventually shove all these back down into this loom holder, but we've gone ahead and stripped all the wires that were up there that we needed to, cut the bad ends off, got them ready to solder to their new connector piece, and we're just going to run them back to the loom down there. I'm not exactly sure where that yellow and red and yellow and black wire go to. Here's the other side of the cable connector there. It was not eaten at all, so that's good. This side here we've attached and tried to keep the same color scheme going as best as we could. You know, black stuff to black stuff, blue stuff to blue stuff. These two were in this loom. I'm not sure if they go to the speaker. I think they go to the speaker. I think that's what happens, but the schematics say that it's a white and yellow line as well as a black and yellow line, so I'm not exactly sure. We'll figure that out. We've got lines coming out of there. That's one of those is the volume control. It was bitten in half, and I had to rebuild that to get the sound working again. And a power line there that's on that power transformer line in that we definitely had to seal up and make sure it was in good shape enough to use to keep it there. The little fellas really had a penchant for speaker eating, and they basically ate the speaker completely apart. The actual connector is gone, so I'm not sure what cables went to it, but my guess is I'm going to have two left over, and the two left over will be yellow and black and yellow and red, and they're going to go to the speaker at some point. Maybe they substituted out a yellow and red. Just the schematics might call for one thing, but what the factory had on hand at the time is what they had on hand. So we're about to put these other loom chunks together. Here it goes. Now, we've got all these loom chunks run with, again, tried to keep the coating or the coloring somewhat similar, but everything is run off that front area now. We've got this flipper all connected and running down. I had to get me some zip ties and tie everything back together. I have not done any of that, or at least I haven't done that on the video yet, so you haven't seen it all put back together nice and neat, but it will get that way, and we still have those two leftover cables right there. I'm not exactly sure what they go to, but my guess is they go to the speaker. That is the speaker cage right there, or the speaker screen that the subwoofer gets plugged into, the little 6-inch speaker that goes down there. Everything on that looks fine. I didn't find anything else cut and wacky looking that I could see visually. And also, under the playfield is in great shape too, so that's good news. We didn't really have anything to mess with under the actual playfield. The next thing to do was to pull out this back loom over here and see if it's been bitten at all or chewed, and I couldn't really find anything on any of these. They looked fine. Everything looked fine here, so we're just going to suggest and hope that it works when we decide to give this bad boy power again. This section here is where the true nightmare begins. As you can see, this big bundle that goes right down into the hole there, a lot of them are chewed, a lot of them are bitten. At this point, I'd gotten pretty much that whole section put back together. I want to say it took me about 4 hours of standing there and making sure, in all, everything was on. In all, I think I've got about 10 to 12 hours of rewiring this whole thing at this point, or at least fixing the broken wires. And I had gotten through the big chunk there in the neck. This was probably 3 or 4 in the morning. I stayed up till about 7 a.m. the other night doing this, and then the next morning I got up back around 11 and went to it for another 5 hours that afternoon to finish up everything. We have not gotten to the light board yet, but I know there's some wires missing there that I'm not exactly sure what goes to it. And that's what I'm pointing out right now. The sad thing is my phone, you never know when the microphone's working. So I'm sitting there talking to my phone and trying to do all the voiceover to the phone, and it's just not recording. Or if it does, it's a very low, you can't barely hear anything. So it sucks. All right. These are all the cables put back together. Looks like we've got everything that we needed to worked on. We've rebuilt that. We don't have that flasher plugged into anything yet. I couldn't find any other excess wires that were coming out, so I'm guessing it's a daisy chain situation, like the blues and the you see on those ones below the line there. The 2 blue lines are going out to that one, and they keep daisy chaining off of that. So I'm guessing there's some kind of daisy chain situation that I got to figure out up there. Done our best to figure out and match up what colors go to where and what colors were where. So far, I think this is the best as I can do. I've rebuilt all the plugs that I could rebuild. I tried to use all the original parts and components that were still usable there to do. We have not, again, I haven't taken any zip ties yet and put these wires back together. We're going to lose a little bit of length on a couple of these looms, but I think we're okay. There's no real tension on any of the plugs at this point. We're staring directly at the motherboard, and I'm the worst cameraman ever. But everything seems to be back up and has connectivity. I was running my multimeter and checking and making sure that, the ones that were frayed really close to the plug were a little bit tough to deal with, but I think we got enough solder on there to make a new connection and go ahead and use it. That's the speaker cable that I just tossed back down there, and that's the one that I've got, the volume control cable. That runs out to the speakers, and as you can see right there, there is a white and yellow and a white and black, and I'm maybe at some point it switches over to the yellow and red and yellow line at some point down in the bottom. I haven't traced it yet, haven't found it, haven't gotten that far. Haven't cleaned anything, haven't touched anything up, but I think it's ready to flip the power switch and just see if the world blows up. So let me clean off the top and see what happens. And again, unfortunately, you got no sound. I didn't clean that. I had to take that off to fix I definitely had one coil that was locked up. The ball out kicker, the out hole coil was locked up. So I took that out and switched it. There was 2 blown fuses on the power supply board for solenoids. My cat was over there. I was worried that she was going to get lit on fire. I told her to get out from under there. You move away. We're going to fire this thing up and see if it blows the house up. And I think right here is about when I'm about to throw the switch. First time throwing it up. There's lights. Phantom of the Opera. Loading, booting, game up. Lights flashing on the playfield. Nothing caught on fire. It didn't explode. There's no sound coming out of it at this point because I had not rebuilt the speaker cable yet. And I actually rebuilt that thing, and I just 5 minutes ago took another video, or tried to take another video and get sound on my phone of you listening to it say, welcome, or Phantom of the Opera, and all that stuff, and making its little songs, and it didn't work. My phone sucks. Gonna test it one more time. Damn phone. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. Give me that juice, baby.
I am a Phantom of the Opera.
We've got some ball issues. Basically, the game loses track of balls and keeps spitting out balls for multi-ball and stuff when it can't find all 3 balls. So there's some switches somewhere not doing what they're supposed to do. The ramp doesn't fully come down correctly all the time like it's supposed to. The game is filthy. I probably shouldn't be playing it with all the dirty crap on it. that work. It did work. We got lucky. I can't believe it worked. I can't believe it's working right now. I won't know until I watch it back. Hopefully it does. Thank you guys for liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing, all that jazz that goes on here at the CaptNRetro channel. I really do appreciate it. There's a lot more to come. The machine is up and running. We've got a couple switches we got to fix and a couple other little things to tidy up. Then we're going to fully clean it and go through it, and I'll make a final video wrap up on all that. Hopefully you stick around to watch that. The next video in the pike is on the $6 Million Man. It'll be happening this week. Look for 3 videos a week from CaptNRetro for a while. Got a lot of stuff I'm working on, and I got time to make videos, so that's what's up. Thank you again. Have a great day. Captain!
CaptNRetro, it's the CaptNRetro Show.